Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I wanted to do something a little bit different today. My last video was on Industria and the subsequent Industria 2 demo that recently came out, and I've just still had this game on my mind quite a bit, and I thought I had a few more things to say, but I think maybe the format could be interesting if we did it as like a walkthrough of the Industria 2 demo, just so I can share some of my thoughts about why I think what they're doing in the sequel seems particularly interesting in me. I'm going to play on normal so as not to embarrass myself and scare myself too much, although this might be coming out on Halloween, so maybe that would be fitting.
And suddenly I was trapped between machine-built walls and a parallel dimension, far away from home. One day, they began to move. I barely made it through the night alive. Beyond the walls, I stumbled into Marlene, a co-worker from East Berlin, stranded just like me. Together, we might have a chance to finally find a way home. You coming or what?
Man, so hearing that intro again makes me wonder if this is just an entirely alternate reality version of Nora. That maybe this is a version of Nora that was sent to this dimension where the FKE and other people came, and maybe the first game was just an entirely separate reality. So rather than playing through this game as Nora having lived through those experiences of finding Walter, maybe now we're just an entirely different version. I also, like I talked about in my other video, kind of love the fact that we have a real other NPC character following us around. Although the textures and stuff on the face don't seem completely done yet, it does just add a little bit more charm to the experience. And I also think the way that they went about making the world interactable, am I saying that word right, was much better in this demo than it was in the first game. It used to be kind of like that old school Half-Life style thing where, you know, you pick up a bunch of little items around the world and you can fling them. Whereas now this is a little bit more controlled, and these doors kind of interact when you click on them and then move the mouse, which I think is a nice touch that still makes the game feel, you know, fun to engage with while not super silly. All right, and this is kind of like the premier thing I feel like here, the inventory system. So it also added that crafting system that was hinted at the beginning of the last game, but now it's, part of the world is this bag that you carry around. And so you drag things over here to create the items, boom, and the bullets go flying into your gun. It's pretty cool. And it's not just a crafting system either. It's not just a crafting system because this is all inventory space as well for you to carry lawn items like pipes. And then all this at the bottom here is like your quick access, your motion detector, your handgun. Eventually we'll get some bottles and grenades and sorts of craziness. And then little items are held up here and you craft over here. So I think it's a cool system. It's a cool system to add to the game that makes everything, what's the word I'm looking for? Dialectic? That's probably just not the right word. I'm going to put the right word on screen here that I'm referring to. But everything's kind of in the game. You know, it's a seamless, immersive experience where even the menus are, part of something that's in the actual world that you're playing in. Obviously, another thing to kind of point out here is that, like, the interior environments and the lighting are really kind of like their specialty here. Obviously, the characters, like I said, still need a little bit of improvement that they're probably working on since this is a demo, but the interior spaces really stand out as just pretty looking. And we'll see that more as we venture into the darker corners of the later part of the demo as well. I have played through the demo 2 or 3 times, so I might skip some little corner that turns out to not be relevant fully. The design is as really, like, evolved too. Like, these doors are much cooler than kind of some of the stuff we got in the first game. Although I do think the first game, with how they chose to approach what the Atlas robots looked like, we're going for a much more Half-Life inspired approach. Whereas here they seem to be more creatively investigating what they think some of this stuff should look like. All right. Before we go down there, let's take a little side area here to get a pipe bomb, which I'll show off for you guys later when we see some cool enemies and some other scraps. And then this is the buy menu, which there's nothing written about it. Like, there's no tutorial for it I've seen. Marlene doesn't mention it, which I believe is her name. I forget right in this moment. But it does seem like it's going to add kind of some more complexity into the build that you craft for your version of Nora. Let's see. Let's go extended mag damage and just go for like a crazy power build here so we can kill more enemies and take a look at them. Another thing that if you've played Industria 1, you'll notice when we get to the sections where we're seeing the new enemies is that they're much more human. There's even a note later on that I probably won't stop and read fully for you guys, but it talks about how somebody is having the experience of encountering the robots and they seem to be like saying human things, thinking human memories, like referring to experiences that wouldn't have occurred if they were robots. And it's kind of interesting. I wonder if the robots in this alternate version of events when you know, Atlas is brought into this reality somehow merged with humans as opposed to just being these entirely separate entities that existed and started coming from the sea or whatever in Hakovic in the first game. Trusty pipe, always a great survival horror item to have. A la, what, Silent Hill 2 maybe? This little squeeze through areas. That kind of reminds me of Last of Us a little bit too.
That's probably my best bet to find that component.
Yeah, I just think this is such a great evolution. These were in the original game, maybe something that we saw more so, I think, towards the end of the first game when we were leaving the city and kind of seeing those massive spheres just hanging out. Yeah, here, we'll show off the motion finder as well when we get into this next section that has a few more enemies. Just grabbing our extra little goodies. Really, I'm probably going to save that ammo for the very last little bit. Ooh, get a little save spot there. Because we end up getting a shotgun. Spoiler, we get a shotgun in the end of the demo that is just super badass. All right, I think that door's locked. All right, so yeah, here's the good, like, see how much more humanoid these robots are? The robots from the first one, these square boxes with legs almost. These guys, see, they have like human frames and they're rounded. Oh, very disturbing, very cool. Okay, so these are the first enemies that we encounter in this area, and they can see. Some great spooky moments of them sulking around. And basically, this is about kind of stealth navigating our way around to get to this little wheel we need to spin over here to open this door. As you can see, it's going to be made a little bit complex by these guys, but luckily, hopefully, I have the moons. I mean, just look at the lighting and the textures. Great, great atmosphere in this game. All right, I'm going to turn the light on here. All right, so my plan is to wait for, All right, here we go. All right, we're going to have to sprint to get to it before it closes. Horrible door design idea there. I don't know who thought it'd be a good idea to have a door that starts closing as soon as you stop opening it. Or it looks like we avoided them. Perfect. We'll grab one of these bottles to distract some enemies later on. Oh, here, wait. Maybe I should use this just so we can see if anyone pops up so you can see what this looks like. There's one other area to use it here. So you ready it with the right mouse button and then boop. And you can see where people are at, which is obviously going to be much more helpful when you're trying to navigate more complex areas and not run into any enemies. I do think that one thing that is a little bit kind of silly, which maybe they'll add a settings to change it. Maybe there is a setting to change it right now. But the way that the shooting works, way you ready items is right mouse button, readies it, and then you click the, see I even messed it up there. You click the center mouse button, the scroll wheel to bring it to full ADS. A part of me thinks that's kind of silly, but then on the other hand, I don't know how often I'm going to need to like truly ADS in this game. So maybe it's kind of irrelevant. Because most of my firing is probably going to be done from here, especially if it sticks these more tighter, confined, horror-inspired locations. All right, these are the bolt cutters we're going to grab. I do like the idea that now the items that we're picking up are a little more geared towards the actual issue that we're trying to solve. It kind of feels a little bit clunky at first, but once you kind of get the flow, and I'm sure in the main game, you know, once everything's kind of coming together, it's going to be kind of satisfying because, for example, now bring these to one of our big slots, drop these. Oh, wait, see, where are we going here? Drop it down there. There we go. So we store that here in place of our pipe bomb. And now we're going to ready it. And you have to do right trigger right right mouse button, left mouse button. My console gamer is coming out of me. And this is just like a sick reveal. A little bit of pop in there, but man, does it look beautiful at the end here. And in the end of the demo, we'll see later, kind of has us popping out, I think right down there, honestly, kind of opening up into this valley, which I hope is teasing out, like I said earlier, these kind of massive areas that we're going to be able to explore. I think that could be like some really good contrast as well. If you're kind of moving from these horror-inspired kind of small areas that are really tightly knit and designed, and moving to something that's a little bit more similar to what we experienced in the first game with the kind of open layout but linear map design. Maybe they'll move away from that linear map design, though. It seems like a lot of the ideas have kind of evolved. All right, these guys are kind of saucy here. Put that one down. Uh-oh. Had to beat that one to death a little bit. Yeah, but the designs on the robots, right? Just much better. And they have like these weird vacuum tube things. Another thing that's like, this might be the consequence of a separate reality from what we saw in the first game. All right, I'm not going to craft any more. I'm not going to craft any more pistol ammo, but I am going to craft some shotgun ammo by just dragging all that into a big pile right there. Oh, I didn't realize that's the pipe bomb recipe as well. Interesting. All right. And I just feel like when a shotgun's done right in this game, it does have some, it's very like a steampunk kind of punch it's got to it. And I feel like a shotgun, even if it's like 80% of the way there for being fun, is always going to be the most interesting and engaging weapon to use in a game. So we get another one of these doors that's going to trap us in here. Obviously now we're getting a little bit of a hint that we're probably going to have to use that end here in just a little bit. Oh, look at that. And we even picked up some more pistol ammo. Perfect. It is cool how the pistol does change. One of the demo playthroughs I did, I got the silencer for it, and I realized that in that first room where he had the big chunky guys walking around, I was able to take them out without alerting the other ones, which was pretty cool. We'll leave that there. Ooh, now we got the shotgun. Excellent. Only 3 rounds? Shit, that's all we need, right? Why not? All right, and this is what we came for.
That looks like the thing we
It's
need.
weird vacuum, organic tech shit.
Oh, shit.
Look at that. Look at that. Now that's a fucking evil robot. What are the name of the, I'm asking you, even though you can't tell me in this moment, but in, Surgers are what they're called here. What's the name of, in Resident Evil? You know, in the second Resident Evil live-action movie with Mia Jovovich, the zombies that come into the church? It's in the games, too. What am I thinking of? All right, so these guys are blind. Which means as long as we're super, super quiet, they shouldn't be able to get us. Okay, here's one. All right, I wanted to kill them so you guys can get a look at their bodies. Oh, here we go. There we go, bang. Oh, they're kind of on top of each other a little bit. As you can see, this wiring over them that gives them these weird stringy, you know, hamstrings and thigh muscles and stuff. It's just a cool design. Very unsettling robot design in the game. Especially alongside the mainly like kind of vacuum pump, steampunk kind of robot stuff we've seen so far. I'm really interested to see how they explore kind of the enemy design in this game, especially when compared to the first game, which one of the things I talked about in that first video I did about Industria was how the enemy design was a little bit lackluster, I would say. I feel like kind of encountered the enemies and the different twists to them in that beginning first few levels, 1, 2, 3 maybe, and then after that, you didn't really encounter a lot of new enemy variety, or even have them use the thing that made them unique as an enemy, like their charge or roll or whatever it was, to even really see them use that all that much after their initial introduction in a way that was interesting. All right, a little bit of extra love on that robot. Now we just got to make it back through the way we came. I just feel like this is just such a great ambience. They're capturing a really cool tone here. Like I said, a kind of a cross between a lot of great stuff that I mentioned in my first video, but like BioShock and Half-Life and Last of Us now in this one. Like they're combining a lot of cool tonal elements to create something that's very fun. All right. The difference here is obviously that now our big oh yeah, you saw him kind of lurking away there at the end. Our big lurky boys who were here earlier are no longer around. Now it is all filled with the blind enemies that we just encountered. Which way are you gonna go, buddy? Which way are you gonna go? Okay, good call. Oh. Okay. Easy now. I do kind of wonder if they're going to make it that the light is a relevant factor. Oh. In terms of being seen. Obviously, for these guys, it doesn't really matter because they're blind. But I do wonder if with some of the other enemies, having the light off and forcing you into like these really dark environments is going to be a factor of the gameplay. Oh, come on now. Come on now, buddy boy. Just walk on by. All right, we got to get out of here. Man, just look at the lighting though. So sick. All the, like I said, these like hard surface enclosed areas just work super well. All right, he's gonna go right by me here. Ooh, that was a close one. All right. Think we're home free, maybe. That's the door we came in, right? Or the hole in the wall we came in. Thank God they can't get through those things. All right, let's get over here. Yeah, this just about brings us to the end of the demo. We're going to slip back through this crack, go in and deliver that little special vacuum pump hideous thing to that machine that we had come across earlier, thus allowing it to function and open the door. I do wish you're more than alive. Look, and another example of like how kind of cool and seamless the inventory system can be, where we're, I don't know, it's a little bit more immersive. We're like actually kind of doing this stuff. Even though the readying it and then left clicking, you know, is a little silly or out of place. I do think it's something that you're going to get used to.
That's it, you've done it. About time. Let's leave this grim place.
Yeah, let's get the hell out of here. But yeah, I think it's a good example of how the game could flow to kind of create a larger experience that is a lot of fun. Having these little like side areas that offer a little bit of a different flavor of experience, and then giving way to maybe open areas that are a little bit more in line, like I said, with the first Industria.
Is this the way you came before? Yeah.
Yeah, and trying to piece together this story and figuring out, are we in an entirely alternate reality? Did what happened to Nora in the first game really happen? Is that version of Nora trapped in the library? I'm just excited. Yeah, I think the game looks great and is really cool. All right, hopefully this was something fun, different, a little bit interesting. I really just enjoyed this game, and I feel like I can't stop yapping about it. So I definitely recommend checking out the demo, playing through the first game. It's not on sale anymore, but I think it is fun and probably worth it when it goes on sale again to pick it up, just to be fully understanding the story leading into the sequel. But I appreciate you guys hanging out. Let me know your thoughts on Industria in the comments, and I will talk to you later. All right, bye.